Who will prevail? Does it matter?
We not talk first? Hope it not fight back. Best kind of fight.
There you are, of course. After all, you couldn't miss it. A mimic cannot exist without a model, nor a villain without a hero. You don't have your own journey or your own story, for you are merely a chapter in my epic. Without me, you simply do not exist. Do you remember when we last met, you said you'd rule my lands? For the good of your subjects, wisely and fairly? So what? Did your ruling bring your subjects much good? Are they satisfied? Are they happy now? Is the toady fairy happy? Is your governor happy who turned into my footrest? Everyone thinks they are the hero of their own story, and all the others but a crowd. But do you know what makes us different? Your story is a poor joke that's gone on for far too long. Mine is a legend for the ages. Look around. I am everything I was and all that I could be. All the legends composed about me. My glory was too great to fit into one body. Here is Irovetti, wise ruler. Irovetti, invincible warrior. Irovetti, cunning trickster. Irovetti, sacred champion of Calistria. And who are you? No one and nothing. A minor prop I will use to demonstrate my grandeur to the audience. Well, let us begin. It's time for you to become a part of my history.
Not more runner and talker than fighter.
To arms!
Come here, Bax. Knock, stab you.
Justice! You can't stop me!
Your life ebbs low.
Which knife to use?
Step, step, step.
To dust you will go.
Training pays off! What's in wait for me there, I wonder? Forwards! No backwards, backwards! Time becomes distance. Step. Trail me. What's in wait for me there, I wonder? Step. Victory!
Consider me provoked. Well, that's just great. Our poor great-grandfather is dead, and just when I thought I might be playing him for a new, better contract. Well, it is the end of one tale. But the world is big. I'll find a place where I can be appreciated. Farewell, Your Highness, and farewell, sister. I'm leaving. Kaneda, what are you up to? Everything is better now. The devil is gone But you two are here. Kalika, the Arcanothane is right. We are worse together. You have no nerve for my cold shrewdness, and I'm tired of your foolish tricks, which so often hurt me. You have a wonderful patron who indulges your every whim. I want to find a better life for myself as well. So farewell.
Grotus awaits us.
Time becomes distance. Forwards! No, backwards, backwards! Step, step, step. What's in wait for me there, I wonder? The road calls me. I'll take the bait. Blood! Blood!
Clever spy.
inevitable!
You are a welcome sight, Your Highness. Look what the damned elves did to our city. As soon as we entered, the ground started trembling silently under our feet, and then it gave way and fell apart. But why am I telling you this? You probably saw the whole thing for yourself. So, our team was stuck here by the gate, together with a whole horde of beasts from the first world. We fought them off somehow, thanks to you and Erastil. But I don't know what's going on with the others. And also, well, he'll tell you himself.
Happy to serve you, Your Grace. I mean, Your Highness. Right. Damn fool thing. Never mind. I'm not sorry for any of it. I'm not exactly myself, Your Grace. Did you see the Stag Lord and the others who appeared from the cup? Well, I returned with them. Let the priest decide whether I'm alive or not, but no one has released me from service. I'm here now, helping as best I can.
I'm impressed with your sharp eyes and deep knowledge. Though you're not the first mortal to surprise me. And not the first to die by my sword, for the pleasure of the true king, the Lantern King.
Prepare to meet my end on you.
State your desire.
Tashani Savitur! Tashani Savitur! Tashani Savitur! Tashani Savitur! Trail me! I'll carve my name onto your flesh!
Used to lighting enemies on fire first.
Can someone help me? I die.
Did you like that?
I'm wounded.
You did it! Time becomes distance.
You cannot stand against me.
What a waste!
Die! Unworthy.
That one went deep.
Step.
Scared? You should be.
Be easier if you not fight back. Ow. Not that stab.
This body holds no more. You never had a chance.
I'll fight if I have to.
Become as dust.
Need a bandage. Big one.
We will prevail. The attack commence. Training pays off. Forwards. No backwards. Let's shred them!
Assist me or lose me.
Let us strike it down!
I'm leaking red all over myself.
Do not falter!
Need a bandage. Big one.
Onwards! Victory is inevitable.
Repent!
What's in wait for me there, I wonder? Step.
Where now?
You have my attention.
Ani, Efna. 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 Ani, Efna.
Time becomes distance.
Let's give them what they deserve.
Feb's low.
Up with your hands!
Wretched thing.
Did you like that? What? You did it?
Training pays off.
Step.
Submit.
This body holds no
Could be worse. Will be. Probably will be. Lost.
What's in wait for me there, I wonder? Forwards! No, backwards, backwards! Time?
Who will prevail? Does it matter? What a waste!
Step, step. Trail me.
To arms!
Become as dust!
Victory is inevitable!
What's in wait for me there, I wonder?
To the dust you will go. Repent!
You can't stop me.
Step.
You cannot stand against me.
Off with your head!
Nighttime!
Time becomes distance. No, backwards, backwards!
I am prepared to meet my end. Thank you.
Off with your head! I see blood! Blood! Training pays off! Victory is inevitable!
You can count on me. Speak.
Your life
Scared?
ebbs low.
You should be. Executed.
Step. What's in wait for me there, I wonder?
Will we not talk first?
I'll carve my name into your flesh!
To use. Oh! Used to lighting enemies on fire first.
Trail me.
Hoping not fight back. Best kind of fight.
Stay behind me. Submit. This is for you.
Come here, Bax.
Pays off.
Time becomes distance. Step. No. What's in wait for me there, I wonder?
I'm not afraid! I'll fight if I have to!
That was deep. Knife!
Let us strike his blood!
Which knife did you use?
How curious.
Time becomes distant. Trail me!
Still hiding behind masks, eldest? Isn't it time you cast them away?
Words, words. How little value we attach to them, and how much they truly mean. But I've grown tired of words and prophecies. I will no longer predict chaos and death. Instead, I will show them to you, myself.
Oh, yes, the time has come! The time of fate and curses!
You cannot stand against me.
Do not falter! May I see your entrails, please?
You don't seem to like my curses! Maybe I like myself better?
I'm red all over myself. Need a bandage.
Laughter has passed. It's the hour of hunting and chaos.
inevitable!
Never thought I had.
Enough! The time for masks is over. You risk challenging an eldest, and I accept the challenge. You will fight not a mere embodiment, but my true essence. This is my essence. I don't need magic or servile monsters to destroy me. Words are enough. Yes, words. I once told you, words spoken in the right time and place possess the power of a storm. You lightheartedly answer that you know what your power and essence are. Duty and the desire to make the world a better place. I remember your answer. The world remembers it too. Your answer, your heart, your essence. And now, cursed queen, I'm taking this part of your soul, as I took away Nyrissa's ability to love. What you called your essence is yours no more. Let us continue. We both know. I'm curious what you think of me, cursed queen. Do you see me as a villain or a simple joker? In truth, well, I'll never be able to conceive of the truth. Being an eldest means being one of the many strings that hold the world in place. Being an eldest means being such a vast and self-sufficient value that one's equals become strangers and one's inferiors are entirely insignificant. I am an eldest. Laughter, guile, transformation, that's what I am. Being what I am, I will let you feel a modicum of my loneliness. I will take away your pillar of strength. Good. You can play with words. Let us see if you can withstand the heat of my fire.
Scared? You should be.
I don't remember sensing it for 1,000 millennia. But what's next? How will you end this story? Listen, I know. Elegant and refined. The hero defeats a deity in battle. Impress it grants the victor power and immortality. The hero enters the chambers of the deity to become his champion and herald. Eternal, powerful, equally glorified both in the first world and in Valerian. Her kingdom healed from its wounds and flourished under the rule of the immortal champion. A beautiful ending, isn't it? And this legend is yours for the asking.
Trust the laughing lie. Don't do this. Not after everything you and I have endured because of him. I can give you immortality and power, though not as much as the Lantern Kings. Perhaps we won't be able to stand against the eldest, but accept my gift and my patronage, and together we will make him pay for what he's done.
How sad it is to hear you, Nyssa. Thousands of years for nothing! You haven't learned a single lesson. Never learned to atone. But what do you say? Did I tell you I don't like dying? Well, I don't. Perhaps we should stop this pointless exercise and speak seriously? What do you think? I can let my misguided protege go wherever she likes. But knowing her, I'm doubtful she will become a humble exile.
I won't. I've come too far to go back. It might take me 1,000 years and thousands of deaths, but I will find a way to get back at you, eldest. Even if she betrays our alliance and becomes your puppet.
So you plan to entertain me for all eternity? Or do you think you can still outplay me, trespasser?
Pretty words, eldest. Save them for our next encounter. You pretend to laugh, but I see how shamed you are. What a deep wound you've suffered this day. It won't be the last, believe me. We've come a long way together. First as enemies, then as allies. I mark you with my gift. A bond to the first world. Eternal youth and immortality. We are two cursed queens, each in their own kingdom, their own world, but henceforth inextricably entwined. Eternity awaits, and possibly eternal war with a deceitful deity. But so what? It is our eternity, and perhaps in the end, we will rule not kingdoms, but whole worlds.
Now that the eldest and other spiteful beings wouldn't be bothering us, the queen returned to her subjects and celebrated the victory and the end of the kingdom's miseries with great fanfare. Everything gradually returned to normal, including our exciting lives. Not always peaceful, but also not troubled by invasions from another world. And little by little, our heroes and the common folk began to forget the sorrows of the past. So the kingdom returned to Golarion, but not without taking a piece of the first world with it. Miracles and strange occurrences, both kind and cruel, became the norm. Not that the citizens hadn't grown used to that. Of course, the Lantern King wasn't thrilled with the way things worked out, but who cares? Our leader and Nyrissa, the cursed queens, are ever ready to face the power of the eldest. Until that time comes, our leader spends a lot of time in the First World, learning its secrets and testing her new powers. The immortal queen and her kingdom became a legend come true in Golarion. Sadly, the numerous misfortunes that befell the queen took their toll on the stolen lands. Matters left to luck and state problems left unattended meant the stolen lands would remain a lawless realm. It turns out you can't be both a great heroine and a successful ruler at the same time. Or the heroine of this story couldn't, at least. The feud between Brevois North and South, which had been smoldering for ages, never sparked the fires of civil war. Through great effort, our queen managed to bring both parties to the negotiating table. While Rostland didn't gain its independence, it did receive wide autonomy rights. Our relationships with both House Sertova and the Sword Lords are respectful, but they've become lukewarm. Because of us, neither side got everything they wanted. The Tiger Lords never fully recovered from the damage Armont did to the tribe. Lacking a strong leader and torn by infighting, the barbarians sank into a short but fierce internal war. Their lands were quickly appropriated by neighboring tribes, and the Tiger Lords were scattered across Numeria and the River Kingdoms, little more than pitiful remnants of a once great tribe. Pitax almost returned to its former state, a joyful city filled with beers of dubious quality and deals of questionable legality. The old trade houses lost the crown, but they retrieved the property Iravetti had taken from them. Soon, Pitax became almost like a second capital in the kingdom, a thriving city through which rivers of money from across the region ran. Unfortunately, we get much less of this money than we would like. Governor Liachenza turned out to be helpless against widespread embezzlement. Maestro Bellavera gave the Academy of the Arts a second wind. Throwing out mediocre students and sycophants, she gathered within its walls talented visionaries, rebels, and freethinkers, those whose gifts felt cramped within the walls of more respectable institutions. She managed to do what Iravetti never could, namely, make the Academy truly famous, albeit scandalously so. So, what if instead of odes to the Queen, the Academy releases sneering pamphlets and revolutionary leaflets? It only helps her reputation as a true patron of the arts. Trolls and kobolds, two of the most savage native peoples living in the Gnarl Marches, were completely exterminated in the region. The forest paths became much safer, and the peasants' cattle have stopped going missing. After enduring so many storms and troubles, Varnhold eventually turned into a real city. Daring settlers decided to conquer the vast, wild expanses of Dunsword, and despite all odds, they succeeded. The modest colony that almost vanished at the hands of an ancient lich turned everything around to become a thriving city with lively river trading. Agay, the Spriggan leader, learned a valuable lesson after surviving his meeting with the Queen and even regaining his tribe's home. Don't try to occupy seemingly empty settlements anymore. Instead, the Spriggans settled across Dunsword's wild borderlands and proclaimed it as their domain. Keeping the peace in a situation like that seems like the stuff of dreams, as evidenced by the occasional lost patrols and stolen cattle. After the kobolds and mites disappeared, the empty caves beneath the old sycamore quickly became home to all kinds of disgusting critters, giant centipedes being the most innocent and pleasant of them. Attempts have been made to clear out the caves, but it never takes long for something to take up residence again. In the end, the decision was made to block the entrances and burn the giant tree down, destroying the roots that held up the ceiling of the caves. Oleg's trading post continues to thrive, attracting even more travelers. Much to its owner's displeasure, a small town is springing up around it. Despite Oleg's grumbling, he and his wife are well regarded by everyone, and Svetlana was even elected town chief. Jod remained loyal to the Queen to the end of his days, healing the sick and generously sharing his austere wisdom with anyone who wished to hear it, and some who didn't. Having fulfilled his duty to the ruler, Erastil's priest peacefully departed this world, surrounded by friends and disciples. Having participated in Lamashtu's ritual, Olika gave birth to a strong and healthy baby. Sadly, the child grew into an unruly and violent adolescent. Having maimed a peer at just 10 years of age, the boy escaped to the Gnarl Marches, fleeing the rage of a mob that tore his mother to pieces instead. No one knows what happened to the lad, but legends of Lamashtu's child, who sometimes kills lost travelers and sometimes leads them to safety, are passed on by word of mouth throughout the area. Reinhardt became a loyal ally and trade partner of the kingdom, and Darwin himself had been seen as a frequent guest in the capital. The elegant monarch of the neighboring kingdom has broken many hearts at court. After his visits, many young guards and servants have been seen staring through windows, sighing wistfully about something. The lizard folk of the Longtail tribe returned to live on the shores of Candlemere, but they couldn't return to their ancient way of life. Living alongside people, the lizard folk adopted their behaviors, habits, and even religion. More and more of the Longtail tribe pray not to the spirits of their ancestors, but to Erastil or Gorum. They even began to forget their original language. I hope someone writes down their songs and legends before they all sink into oblivion. The Sweet Teeth departed on a journey, hoping to see as many wonders as possible of this world and others. They keep sending us news from every corner of the map. Their bright painted wagon, drawn by a bull mastodon, crisscrosses Galarian, somehow appearing in the center of one incredible story after another. Evindra was glad to see the Lantern King's plans turn to dust. She spent some time helping restore the kingdom after the calamity, then returned home to the First World. They say the rebellious spirit of her cousin Nyrissa awoke within her as well. Evindra is said to recount our story to the Fae, encouraging them to question the power and might of the eldest. After the victory, the storyteller abandoned his affairs and began spending a lot of time alone in contemplation. He eventually bid farewell to the queen and left her lands. But I suspect the inhabitants of Golarion haven't heard the last of this mysterious traveler, for his own story is hardly finished. We never saw Amiri again. Perhaps she got lost somewhere in the First World, or maybe she found some other way back. Who knows? I doubt that stubborn barbarian would just vanish without a trace. As for the Six Bears, they returned to the mountains, out to the farthest, wildest backwoods they could find, and lived there ruled by their primal laws. Valerie stayed to serve the queen, but not for long. She soon laid down her weapon to start her own family. Valerie married a simple farmer and bore him 2 beautiful children, then settled away from the capital, where she was soon forgotten. Harren became famous, respected by dwarves throughout our kingdom as well as our neighbors, even as far as the 5 Kings Mountains. He's often been asked to help out or teach others, and he's never denied anyone, despite his grumbling. Some people even listen to his preaching. Lucky for us, there's a lot less howling about the end of the world now, and more wise words of moderation and humility. Not all of his disciples turned to Grotus, but everyone took away something useful from his teachings. Jaethal spent some time at the Queen's court, but it became progressively harder for her to hide her true nature from the omnipresent servants of Pharasma. Realizing the risk, she reluctantly left the kingdom, and she soon sent a message from Geb. In a country populated mainly by undead, Jaethal fit in well, especially with her skills and Urgathoa's blessing. She quickly gained fame and influence there, even gaining the favor of Erasni, the de facto ruler of Geb. Octavia didn't stay still for very long. Soon, she and Reg went to Numeria and started a huge slave rebellion there. They didn't manage to destroy the Technically, but to this day, slaves speak their names with admiration and slavers with terror. Over the course of their journey, the two grew as close as ever, leaving their quarrels and resentments behind. After returning from Numeria, Octavia settled in her mother's house and became the Queen's advisor and loyal companion. Rigongar left for Numeria with Octavia to start a slave rebellion. Over the journey, he really matured and learned to understand others, as well as how to control his anger. After he returned, he took a position in the Queen's court. Being both formidable and charming, he inspired fear in the hearts of some and lust in others. There are even some rumors that he almost talked Octavia into marrying him, and possibly even continuing the Della Fiorni line. Ekin spent a few years in the Stolen Lands, and in that time won glory as the most rugged monster hunter in all the River Kingdoms. The Ranger exterminated even the most harmless of the monsters around the capital, then moved on to other lands and new victories. They say the ruthless avenger and slayer of wild monsters made it as far as Katapesh. That's where his trail went cold. I'm afraid Ekin may have become the prey of one of his targets. As for Knock Knock, Jester Knock Knock, he continued to be a great source of entertainment for the kingdom, both in and out of the throne room, sometimes even on purpose. His antics in the kingdom had an additional effect. Aside from bringing joy and amusement to the citizens, it also softened the common view of goblins. They even became welcome in the streets of the city, for a time. While he may not have become the hero he envisioned, Knock Knock did find himself and his inner strengths thanks to the Queen. If you should ever find yourself in the kingdom, be sure to seek him out. He'll gladly regale you with some new tale of adventure, one that will surely make you smile, whether our foolhardy, clumsy, well-intentioned goblin means to or not. Kalika did not remain in our lands for long. She never lost hope of discovering some news of her sister's fate, and the sorrow in her heart drove her to restless journey. One day she left without saying goodbye. No one knows where, taking only the simple things she fled with from Kadira. Kanera celebrated the victory along with everyone else, but was soon consumed by black thoughts about her missing sister. One day we discovered her house empty, her things sold, and Kanera herself gone. All that remained was a short goodbye note. Despite all the woes that befell the country, our queen remains a strong leader. Many noble houses from neighboring lands wouldn't hesitate to be related to her, and they regularly send a variety of marriage proposals. As for myself, the author of this book, Lindsay, who never chose a pretty nickname, I stayed here, within my own book, to watch what happens in the kingdom and one day write this epilogue. I hope, O honored reader, that you learned something important from this story, or at least were entertained by it. And now that it's concluded, I have only to set the final period and go silent forever.